What is up, guys? It is Lifted, and in today's video, we got another episode of Cracked. And for our theme today, we got tag teams. So, really excited for this kind of stuff. This is definitely something I've been buying up a lot for my personal collection, and some really good artworks that are still pretty underrated. You know, Sword and Shield was such a success that people were so quick to dismiss these tag teams. And this Lunala and Solgaleo is giving me a real hard time. I'm really upset that it's taken this many attempts, but today we'll be cracking it for a third time. Well, submitting it for a third time. I think cracking it for a second time, technically. But yeah, we'll get to that soon enough. We better start us off with something a bit lower grade, less risk involved, just to get us warmed up. And this card, it looks real good, but for some reason PSA gave it a 6. And as surprising as that was to me, after closer inspection when we got the card out, I did notice a bit of a bend to the top right corner, I think it is. So yeah, that is unfortunate. Probably something I missed while submitting it, because it's very hard to see unless you look at it in the right light. But yeah, something I could probably flatten out, and maybe I'll resubmit maybe in the future, but for as it stands right now, it's still in my binder, so there is no recap for what happens to that card when we regrade it. But for this guy, the third attempt for our Solgaleo and Lunala, we will be submitting this with PSA. This is, again, another series that is parallel to our graded returns that has been rolling out. So, yeah, fortunately with that, it's kind of cool, because then we can give you the results. Right as you've seen the graded returns, we follow it up with the Cracked series to show you how we got there and a bit of the process it took to get that PSA 10. Oh boy, I'm a little worried about this one. I think if I know this order, yep, okay. So another regrade card. A little worried about this one though. It went from a 9 to an 8, and this is attempt number 3 to try to get the 10. Maybe the centering is the problem. I can already tell that the left side is heavier than the bottom. Maybe a little thin on the right side, but not bad. I mean, it just depends on the angle, the way you look at it. It is a little heavier on the left side, but it's not bad. Oh, I mean, if it got a 9 again, maybe I'd consider just giving up on it, but I can't take an 8 on this. Like, what? It's so clean. The centering isn't that bad. Yeah, so unfortunate, but that was one of the few cards that did not upgrade from the ones we cracked, and we're gonna keep it going with these tag teams. You know, this, what's it called? Psyduck and Slowpoke card was really nice looking, and I don't see anything wrong with it. It could be a fair 9. You know, sometimes these graders might see something, and it's better safe than sorry to give you the 9 instead of the 10. It is a bit of gatekeeping, which is unfortunate, because maybe if there was dust on it that you could have easily cleaned off, then, you know, you gotta resubmit it to fix that issue. But the grader will not clean your card for you, so that's a big deal. And, you know, it's always good to make sure you're submitting your stuff in clean card savers, clean sleeves, fresh out of the pack. Don't let your stuff stay in storage too long. That's another factor too. Even if it's in a card saver or a top loader, you know, if you have your stuff sitting around too long collecting dust, then maybe that gets in the sleeve, could potentially get on the card. So grading is subjective, and there's a lot of factors like that involved. So you kind of have to be a bit patient. You know, people like to say that it's a tactic for them to get more money, but if being harsher on the grades can protect their status and their value behind their grades, then, that's a better way to go about it. Oh boy. Like the last video, we did crack a few cards and regrade. So can we get the gem mint? And we did. Oh boy. That's great. So we got the sequential pair, the GX and the alternate art. So that's kind of what I'm collecting from Sun and Moon. All right, and for this next one, we got that Gardevoir and Sylveon. And with that talk about the subjective grading, with this guy, I didn't see any flaws on it at all whatsoever. But one thing in particular with these tag teams is that you see that black border around the edge and the trim around it by the edge. It's part of the design, but it makes the centering a bit exaggerated when it is a little bit off. So even if it's a 60-40 centering, you might find yourself with a 9 because the black border can be too close to the edge and they think it's off center. So the eye appeal with the centering on these tag teams can be pretty harsh. So that's why I definitely wanted to regrade some of these, because with them being so close to 60-40 centering, it was worth a shot. We got the alternate art and the GX side by side. Can we get the sequential? We got the sequential, guys. Oh man, so just like that card, these were both regrades. They were both PSA 9s, and now they're both PSA 10s. So if you get gatekeeped on the PSA 10 and you are pretty sure it's 10 worthy, don't be afraid to take the chance. Watch one of my cracked videos, see my technique, and don't be curb stomping your slabs like you might see some guys on the internet do. But yeah, really clean card, perfect edges, no dings on the corners, nothing. Not sure if that's smudging on the case, but it came off. Anyway, yeah, so just like that sequential set of 10s, we got this sequential set for 10s. And I'm not really collecting English, so I might sell these someday. All right, there you have it. So we did pretty damn good for ourselves today. We ended up with 2 out of 3 getting bumped up. Aside for this Lunala and Solgaleo that keeps giving me a hard time. So it's unfortunate that it went from a 9 to an 8 and then an 8 again. But you know what? I think it still has potential. And as a bit of a sneak preview to an upcoming cracked video, as well as a upcoming graded returns, this might be a bit further down the line, but I'll tell you now, I did crack it again. Oh my God. So this will be the most amount of times we've resubmitted the same card to PSA, but they have been pretty consistent. I'll give them that, but we want the 10. So whatever happens, happens. It'll be the final resting place for this card. And you know what? If it gets an 8 or a 9, maybe I crack it and sell it raw, or I sell the slab. I don't know yet. But, there is still the chance it could get a 10. I'm pretty determined. And, we made sure there is no fingerprints or anything this time. So wish us luck. The next graded returns and cracked series will be very spicy. Maybe a bit longer of a cracked series, because I think we got 7 cards for the next one. But there'll be Charizards and Rayquazas, so it'll be quite the episode to see. Don't miss it. Hopefully, guys have enjoyed the recent content. It's been lifted. Really grinding here. I'll catch you next time, and we out of here. Peace.